Come, Nerevar, come. Today we will be ranking the continents on Nirn. Yes, Nerevar, Nirn has a lot of land masses outside of Tamriel, even though the series revolves around Tamriel for the most part, though it might benefit for the series to expand outside of Tamriel once in a while. Maybe this is due to the lack of writing prowess of Bethesda and Emil Peg Starfield Ruino, or just the desire to stick with tradition. Without further delay, let's begin. Now let us start with Atmora. Atmora is the frozen land to the north, and the homeland of the Atmorans, the ancestors of the Nords. Some believe it is the homeland of men, but even the Nords believe life actually originated on Tamriel. It was home to many of the same animals as Tamriel, and to dragons. However, it has mysteriously frozen over, and it is thought that no one actually lives there anymore. Though some speculate the sea giants may land there from time to time. Extreme cold, limited resources, and treacherous terrain make survival incredibly difficult. Another thing to note is it is believed to have once been Altmora, elven lands. It being a stolen elven land that now is uninhabitable. I think I can confidently place it in the F tier. Next is Yokuda, the western homeland of the Red Guards, and the extinct Sinestral Myr. Yokuda was famously sunk by a sword-singing technique some call the Pancrato sword, that was capable of splitting the atom. However, not many realize Yokuda still exists and is inhabited, but only as a group of large islands. While reduced to islands, the remaining landmasses seem to offer sufficient resources for the Red Guards. Sea creatures, storms, and potential conflicts with other island inhabitants might be a problem, though. However, I would say whatever remains in Yokuda is inhabitable and conquerable enough to be in B tier. Let us continue this sermon with Pyandonea, the island continent home of the Maiormer to the south of Tamriel. The Maiormer and their god-king were banished there long ago. Not too much is known about it besides that it's tropical, surrounded by lots of mist. It is also home to many sea creatures. It and nearby islands are also believed to be home to farm tools. Some speculate the Maiormer have actually hybridized with farm tools, and that is the reason for their strange appearance. The Maiormer are skilled mages and warriors, and their attitude towards outsiders can vary. Sounds very familiar, although they have no right to be so exclusive towards the Dunmer because they are mere Enwas. Pyandonea, in any case, belongs in the C tier. By the way, if you are enjoying this sermon, don't forget to raise your thumbs, subscribe to my sermons, and write on the parchment down below about your favorite false god. Next up we have Akavir, the Dragonland. Now we somehow simultaneously know both a lot and very little about Akavir. You have been there yourself, sweet Nerevar. While there is much debate about which inhabitants of Akavir are actually beast folk or men, what is known is there are no elves in Akavir, and that they are all Enwas. That isn't to say nothing good has come from Akavir. A lot of weaponry from Akavir has become traditionally used in Morrowind. The mongrel dogs of the Empire tried to conquer it a few times, but after losing their emperor, Uriel Septim V, who was supposed to come back on a dragon, by the way, they quickly gave up on the idea. Those Sashi farm tools are sure something. The human Enwas on Akavir will make you a man of culture, of course, if they still exist. Rumor has it that the Sashi ate all of them. Little is known about the specific environments, resources, and dangers of each Akaviri nation, but I've covered them all in my previous sermon, which you can find in the archives of knowledge. In any case, I would give this place an A tier. Needs more Dunmer. This next one might be somewhat controversial, but next we have Aldmeris. Now this one is controversial because, well, it probably doesn't exist. Yes, Nerevar, the fabled homeland of all Myr is probably just an idea folks like the Altmer propagate to give themselves something to strive for, as it also reinforces their idea that everything sucks now and things were better on Aldmeris. In actuality, Aldmeris was likely just Tamriel before it became split during the old El-Nofi Wars. Leave that Aldmeris is a metaphorical concept, representing a time before the divisions and conflicts that plague the Myr today. This belongs in the does not exist tier, as there is no evidence for its existence, but if it did exist... No, I am not going to entertain the thought. Finally, we have the most important place on Nirn, Tamriel. Tamriel is where all life on Nirn originated, despite what some might tell you. From snowy mountains to lush forests to arid deserts, Tamriel offers a variety of climates and resources. Some try and act like Tamriel isn't that important, but why do you think everyone is always trying to invade it? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. Why do all existential and apocalyptic events on Nirn happen on Tamriel then? Tamriel is literally the most important and central continent on Nirn, especially for mortals. The towers that sustain the mortal realm are the ones other continents depend on. If those Thalmor succeed on deactivating the Adamantine Tower, everyone is going to join me on the immortal plane. Tamriel is also, of course, where the home of the Dunmer Resdane, now known as Morrowind, is located. And how can any land hope to top that? Tamriel, of course, goes in the S tier. Oh, and we have one last sort of continent to wrap up. While I cannot really consider Mehrunes Dagon's realm to be a functional continent and his whole affair with Lig, do you know what I can envision as a quasi-continent, even though it is not on Nirn? The Shivering Isles. I had to mention it, Nerevar, or I would not hear the end of it from that Enwa Sheogorath. The realm is divided into two distinct regions, Mania and Dementia. Mania is vibrant, colorful, and characterized by unrestrained joy and creativity. Dementia is dark, gloomy, and filled with creatures and landscapes that reflect fear and paranoia. The Isles are populated by a variety of strange and wonderful creatures, including the flesh-crafting golden saints and dark seducers, the mischievous grummites, the imposing flesh atronachs, and the eerie gnarls. While it is not Nirn, it borrows a lot from Nirn. If it was a continent on Nirn, it would be a D-tier continent. Honor the sixth house and the tribe unmourned by raising your thumb, subscribing to my sermons, and writing on the parchment down below. Thank you to all Sixth House members and patrons for funding the operation of the Sixth House across Tamriel. I would like to thank the adoring fan Connor Runda and the current Sharmat Tanya Davis for your unwavering loyalty during these less productive times.